Hey y'all, it's Youjo and I am still in Minneapolis. I have decided that I'm going to be here for spring and summer, and if I get a job that looks like something would keep me out of the winter weather, I would also consider being here for fall and winter, but right now I'm just looking at spring and summer. Anyway, I am sitting inside of the lovely Minneapolis downtown library on Hennepin, next to Hennepin, Washington. I noticed that I had not uploaded a video to YouTube in a very long time, since New Mexico actually, so I decided to say hey to the YouTube crowd. Things move a little bit faster for me on Daily Motion, which is why a lot of my videos go there, and I really just use YouTube for entertainment because there are a lot more active people here that also speak English. Not saying people don't speak English on Daily Motion, but Daily Motion is pretty much everyone else's YouTube. But and I also hang out on Vimeo a little bit, but I don't post videos there because Vimeo is very structured towards certain types of content creators. This isn't I don't know what it started as, but it's not really a place for bloggers or anything now these days. It's more for performers and animators and so on and so forth, and I really appreciate it for that. But really, I'm just here to like ramble about some things. I was going to do a video on bisexuality because I picked up a GLAAD report on bisexuality for I think 2016. And some of the data was from 2014, and I was going to read and discuss some of that, but the book fell out of my back pocket while I was in Whole Foods, and I never saw it again. So yeah, I failed on that one, but that's okay, because shit lives on. A few days ago was May Day, and I went to hang out with that, and I partied like I have not partied in a very long time. Like everyone was there. Like it was a totally beautiful vibe. It's like the same vibe that I feel at Pride, where everyone's just walking around and doing what they want to do, and everyone's in a safe environment. And I really appreciate the whole area of Minneapolis, St. Paul for that. And people that have been here for a long time ask me why I came here from Boston. And I say because I heard the people were nice here, and I heard that Minneapolis is a very nice place, and I see it to be true. I've been here for a month so far, and I really do like it here. And a part of me hopes things can work out for the long term, but the other part of me just really doesn't want to be here when it gets cold. So I'm keeping myself very open to all the things that could happen. And hopefully everybody heard all that. But I'm hoping that the audio input is this little mic right here instead of being affected by what is heard through the headphones. But anyway, I'm gonna keep going. I'm 3 minutes on. What I kind of made YouTube was like the political talking, and Daily Motion is the travel blog stuff, but I'm not really that much into politics. I'd much rather talk about sexuality, sociology, and pretty much anything else other than politics at this point, because being in politics, it's gotten me around some interesting people, but recently it really hasn't gotten me anywhere that I've really particularly wanted to be. So I'm putting the brakes on it. I mean, I still have my views and my opinions. I'm just not going to be as readily available to discuss them because of recent experiences, really. My attitude about something changes with the people that I'm around. So the people that I was just most recently around that were involved in politics really had a very unattractive attitude about a lot of things, more so in general. And it also had applied to how they felt about politics. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to separate myself from this group for a while and do something else. So I mean, that doesn't make me any less of anything. I still have my identifications and all that, but you know how it is, internet, when you just get frustrated with a group of people. Like, I've had many grievances with other members of the LGBTQ community, especially in Philadelphia. But what got me into being more political was that, as of recently, before recent times, people that were more, I would say, democratic, had tagged me as an anarchist because of my views on money. And my views on money really don't spread throughout, like, how I feel about everything else. So I hung out with some anarchists, and I think I've always hung out with anarchists, but it was like I was more aware of what I was doing and where I was because of the suggested labels that had been introduced to me. And I don't think that I'm an anarchist, but I'm definitely aware and awake. I mean, because of all these issues with violence we have to take care of, and pretty much all these problems that come with being in a heavily patriarchal society. You can tell by the way I talk, right? And all that jazz. But speaking of the way that I talk, changing subjects, since I left Colorado, I mean, this happened to me in Louisiana, but it didn't happen to me in Colorado. Like, to what I'm about to tell you, and then it kind of picked back up. I don't know about New Mexico or Arizona, but it picked back up in Ohio. People have been assuming that I am from Africa, and I think I speak perfect English. I have a southern accent, which to me doesn't sound like any African accent that I've ever heard, of course. But I might have some kind of Louisianian accent, might have some similarities to some African accent I haven't heard. But someone said, like, by the way I dress and the way I speak and my other more outwardly actions that people can apparently see, they think that I am from Africa. I know I'm picking at my hair. I'm letting my hair grow out and I'm not used to it yet. I don't even know what I want to do with it yet. But it's because when I was back in Louisiana, people would think that I was from California because I watched a lot of TV and I spoke like the people on TV spoke, which meant, some enunciating and maybe some weird slang terms that weren't understood because they weren't shows that were recorded where I live. They were shows that were probably recorded in California over much more west. So, I mean, at least then I was still an American. And then I went to Colorado and people could guess that I was from the South because of my accent. And, like I said, New Mexico, Arizona is a blur with that area. And then I went up to Ohio and people would think that I'm Somalian, and people do still think that I'm Somalian. Maybe I have Somalian heritage. Even though, as far as I know, Somalians don't like black people. Like, I've heard that a few times before, but now I'm in Minneapolis, where Somalians and black people are pretty much like most of the thing. I mean, even though Minneapolis, St. Paul is very diverse. I mean, there's a lot of blacks and Somalians and various types of Asians and all that going on here, which I very much appreciate. That's something that's a very big quality that I appreciate about a place. I don't like seeing a whole lot of the same types of people. For some reason, I don't speak any whatever the Somalian language is, or I don't know. I mean, I think I picked up and carried a lot of Coloradan traits with me, honestly. And nobody said anything about Colorado since I've been here. They all think that I'm from Africa. And I'm like, well, technically, yes, I am from Africa. I'm an African. I'm an American of African descent, so yes. But as far as my birth and rearing, I am an American. But that's just really interesting to me how people, I mean, I guess this goes to the political thing too, like how labels really do get into people, and yet I will see a lot of these same people say that they don't care about labels. And I really see the I don't care about labels in the LGBTQ community. And those very same people will use labels, like, for themselves and, like, label other people and all that. And I'm like, can we just stop the bullshit? I mean, I understand, like, identity and all that. Like, to some people, labels are important, and to some people, they aren't. Labels are about a community. And being a person that is very much about community, I very much understand labels. I don't believe that they should be a thing that necessarily segregates us, but I do very much see them as a thing that brings people together and makes them have a sense of community, which is very important because we, for the most part, are communal animals. Even the most introverted people still need community. Like, they may not want to react or interact with the community so much, but one person just can't do it all. We all need community for the sake of survival. We're communal. And I mean, there are plenty of people that can probably go off and do things on their own, but really on your own you only get so far. Like, somebody else has to build and make some of this shit, you know what I mean? But anyway, back to what I'm saying. And it really got me thinking, like, just about labels just in general. And it's something that I would really have to go into further because I actually just thought about it. But it's as somebody who gets tagged with so many labels by other people and doesn't really get to express the labels that I use for myself. It's like, I don't feel like anybody's ever tried to do it as like a sectioning off type of thing, like, oh, you are Somalian, therefore you can't hang out. But it's more as though, you're Somalian, what's Somalia like? Trying to actually get to know another side of me that does not exist. I am 100% Moroccan. I eat beef and fast food and well, I don't litter, I actually recycle. I would like to say I can count how many times I litter a year on one or both hands, but I'm not really sure. But what else do Americans do? I don't know. I curse a lot. I like watching pranks. I don't much care for pranks being put on me, as long as they're not hurtful pranks. I'm pretty violent, I guess. I don't know. I understand violence. I don't like to act on violence, but I will if I have to. No, wait, isn't that like really psychological and smart? What are Americans, stupid and fat? Well, I guess I'm not American, whatever. But anyway, hello from Minneapolis, St. Paul, lovely Twin Cities of Minnesota. Minnesota does have some issues. Minneapolis, St. Paul does have some issues, but really so far, within recent times, this is the best place I've been. I'm saying this in direct comparison to the Northeast. Providence was fun, but Providence was, I like big places, and Providence was really small. But I can tell Rhode Island has their head on their shoulders about some things. But, I mean, they still need a lot of work. And, I mean, I feel like that can be said about pretty much every place in this country at this point. Every place has pros and cons, but it's like no one's really willing to maintain the pros while working on the cons. I mean, no place is ever going to be perfect, and we really do need a place for everyone in this big, lovely country, but it seems like the same cons go from place to place based on my perspective of things as a traveling nomadic homeless person. And other people gave me the title of homeless. I call myself a nomad. I mean, as far as the poverty issues go, that seems to be the thing that stays the same. There's never enough resources for people that are in poverty or working class. And now I'm going into 15 minutes for this, so I'm going to leave this here and talk amongst yourselves about the social commentary, and I will be back later. And bye. Did I cut it off? No.